Okay, things are looking good. Hello, everyone! Artemu the Violet Wizard here, and today we are continuing the Pokémon FireRed Nuzlocke. Last time we managed to win our third gym badge by beating LT Surge over in Vermilion City, and we made our way through the long and winding rock tunnel in order to arrive in Lavender Town. Though this place does not have a gym battle for us, there is still something here that we need to take care of before we can continue our journey. Though it is technically optional at this point, but I want to get it done now with our current levels and how our team is at the moment. So in between sessions, I took the liberty of training up a few of the Pokemon in our box to make sure that the Pokemon I want to use in this leg of our adventure are strong enough for the threats ahead. So our little Voltorb Quillette is now level 26, looking quite nice. Especially love that quiet nature on her. It's definitely going to make her pretty useful in some of the upcoming fights. It's also pretty unique in that she has the soundproof ability, which blocks sound-based attacks like Growl and Screech and Hyper Voice from being able to affect her, which is nice. And while training her up, she managed to learn Spark, which is quite nice. It's a electric-type attack that can paralyze opponents, making it very reliable. I did teach her Shockwave in order to help with training her up before she could learn Spark, so that was very nice for getting her all trained up. So yeah, very excited to have this ball in our party. And the rest of the team's looking quite good. Also very hoping that we can get some more use out of Khalifa, because she's very close to a very nice upgrade that I want to see. But yeah, so now, before we can head off to the next big destination on our journey, I do briefly want to visit this place. Pokemon Tower, becalm the spirits of Pokemon. So Lavender Town here is generally considered the grave site of Pokemon. So where Pokemon eventually end up after they lose their lives. And they are buried here. The Pokemon Tower is used in order to store their remains. So this area definitely has a very solemn and eerie feel to it compared to areas we had been in the past. I came to pray for my dearly departed Clefairy. I'm awash in tears. Did you come to pay respects? Bless your Pokemon-loving heart, girl. It's very nice to see references like to more mature themes like death even in this part of the series. My Growlithe, why did you die? Pokemon Tower was erected in the memory of Pokemon that died. Yeah, we're getting that here. I am a channeler. There are spirits up to mischief. I sense them high in the tower. So we're probably not going to have to worry about that anytime soon. But yeah, this place serves as a grim reminder that while you don't have to worry about your Pokemon dying normally in these games, Pokemon will inevitably have their lives expire, and it's another way to make you feel about this series and the many creatures we encounter here. They are indeed mortal, even though you don't have to worry about that in normal gameplay. Of course, this is a Nuzlocke run, which means our encounters and the Pokemon that we train are very much mortal, and one small mistake, and they are gone. We're not the only visitor in this place, as we can clearly see our rival. Hey, bud. Hey, Hayden, what brings you here? Is your Pokemon dead? Hey, it's alive. I can at least make him faint. Let's go! That is a very harsh thing for this guy to say, considering the fact that he was the one who took out my Pidgey. This guy. So leading the fight with Coilette here against our rivals Pidgeotto. So Coilette being an electric type is going to be really effective against the flying Pokemon we'll be seeing here throughout this game. Alright, that Pidgeotto is going for Sand Attack, which would normally be bad for us. However, Coilette has Shockwave, which is always guaranteed to hit. It is not affected by accuracy drops to itself or evasion boosts to its opponents. So, oh boy. This Pokemon. This is Gyarados, the evolution of Magikarp. This thing is a beast by this point, and I'm very thankful that it's only a couple levels lower than Coilette here. So what we want to do is try to strike this thing as hard as we can. Gyarados is a water flying type, so it has a very big weakness to electric type moves. Ah, thank you so much, Coilette, for getting that KO. Really wanted to make sure she could handle that thing because with her having low defenses and HP, she would not be able to last long against that thing if it managed to survive a hit. It's the main reason why I wanted to bring Coilette into the party, because I knew having a electric type would give us a really big advantage against Gyarados. Because we're definitely going to see those on a lot of teams in the future, usually held by some pretty high-level opponents. Anyway, our next opponent here is Execute. This bundle of eggs, as it apparently is a grass psychic type. As you can know how to expect, it has a lot of tricky moves at its disposal. Honestly, a very strong Pokemon once you get it fully trained up. It is amazing. And next up is Kadabra. Let's go for Fury Attack and hope we get a good combo here. Alright! Only 3 hits to take it out. Not bad, Zoe. I mean, the team is pretty high level compared to some of our rivals' Pokemon here. So that obviously gives us a nice benefit. Gives a good advantage compared to him. And then his last Pokemon is, of course, his Charmeleon. I don't like seeing you use Smokescreen on Wilma here. But yeah, our Wilma has certainly improved since the last time that she has faced this lizard in battle. Now that she's a Graveler, things are going to be much easier for us if she can actually hit. Yeah, Charmeleon can be a bit of a pain here because it does have Smokescreen to lower accuracy. Just make you completely unable to use your attacks. This strategy. I swear, whenever you drop the accuracy of your opponent, it always seems like they're still able to hit you just fine. But the second that your accuracy gets dropped, you just miss every single attack you do. It's so annoying. Oh, come on, that was a magnitude 8! Could have easily finished that battle in 1 hit. Okay, I am not liking the damage you're doing us. Magnitude 10, come on! Oh! That was a magnitude 10! Why did you have to miss that? Alright, Wilma's gonna heal up from that berry we gave her. If we're not able to land this next attack, we're probably going to switch you out. Oh, of course you land the magnitude 4. That did like nothing. Oh boy, what are we going to do here? I feel like Sarah would be the best bet against Charmeleon at this point. She's pretty bulky and should be able to do some good damage to this thing. Oh, and of course you get the attack boost on Metal Claw now that we switch out. Yeah, just gonna put you to sleep with Hypnosis, and then Dream Eater to do some massive damage. Feel like that is our best call here. Very sad that Wilma didn't get the chance to finish off Charmeleon here. It's really counting on her to do that now that she's fully evolved, but what you gonna do? So it is nasty that Charmeleon is getting these scat bops. Stop it. But we should be perfectly fine to take you out. There we go. Man, that was an interesting battle to say the least. What? You stinker! I took it easy on you, too! How's your Pokedex coming? I just caught a Cubone. I can't find the bigger Marowak. Where could they be? I bet there aren't any left. Well, I better get going. I've got a lot to accomplish, unlike you. Smell you later. Now, there's a popular fan theory as to why the rival is here in the Pokemon Tower. And as you may have noticed in that battle, our rival is no longer using the Raticate that was on his team earlier. It's a common fan theory that the reason he visits the Pokemon Tower is because his Raticate died in a battle before we got to Lavender Town. And he came here in order to just try to get some closure with that, supposedly. Again, it's just a fan theory. It's never confirmed what happens to his Raticate. Of course, in the blue comic that I did back in the day, that Raticate definitely died. To a Graveler's self-destruct, no less. Because I really wanted to make it just as brutal as possible. Even we could not identify the wayward ghosts. A Sylph Scope might be able to unmask them. I'm not too worried about that. Let's just go up here to the upper levels and see if we can get our encounter. Because we do indeed have encounters we can make here, but... that's weird. The ghost can't be identified. So yeah, your first visit to Lavender Town here. If you go into the tower, you will come across ghosts. There is not much we can do with these things. We try to attack, Toilet's too scared to move. Get out! Get out! So yeah, there is absolutely nothing we can do about these ghosts. You cannot battle them, you cannot capture them. All you can do is run away. So, we're gonna have to come back later when we're more prepared for dealing with some paranormal activity. Well, we'll definitely want to keep that in mind for later. Alright, now before we get moving to the next place I want to visit, I want to go into the PC so we can show just how the team has changed since last time. So we got ourselves a few evolutions while I was training up our Pokemon. Boss is now a Dugtrio, Londra's now a Golbat, and Majestic is even more majestic! Huzzah! Yeah, still probably not going to be using him. However, I do want to bring Flandra in for one particular reason. I feel that she's going to be a little bit better than Zoe for this next area coming up. For one thing, when I was training up Flandra, I felt it'd be good to teach her Aerial Ace, as it gives her a very solid flying type attack, and like Shockwave, it can't miss, which is very nice. And with Flandra also having a naughty nature, that makes her pretty darn strong with her physical attacks. So that's going to be a very nice thing for us to take advantage of. But also want to use Flandra for a bit, considering a certain something that I prepared for this particular version of FireRed that we are playing. And should it happen, it would be a nice surprise, but for the time being, yeah, we're just going to move on. And let's swap Khalifa into the front for what I'm planning to do next. So yeah, after taking care of everything in the tower, it's pretty much everything we can do there for the time being. Actually considering what else we can do here, I'm actually going to switch Coilette into the front, because there's another area we can explore if we go down here to Route 12. This area is actually the same route where we first encountered that Snorlax all the way in the last session. Route 12, north to Lavender. But yeah, if we check our map, this is the section all the way on the eastern side of the region. It's an area we briefly visited before, and we're finally getting to see the more northern portion of this route. There's a lookout spot upstairs. The view is magnificent. I like these little checkpoint areas where you can just kind of gives you a place to rest in between areas. See what the binoculars have to show. It's Pokemon Tower. And from this one, we can see a man fishing. Neat. My Pokemon's ashes are stored in Pokemon Tower. You can have this TM. I don't need it anymore. We get TM27 from the girl. TM27 is a move called Return. If you treat your Pokemon good, it will return your love by working its hardest in battle. So that move relates to a certain stat that we haven't gone over yet in this game, and that is friendship. So anytime that you engage with your Pokemon in a way, it can have a positive or a negative effect on their friendship level. And traditionally, your Pokemon's friendship will go up if you use healing items on it, if you level it up, if you use certain stat-raising items on your Pokemon. Just anything that will benefit your Pokemon's health will traditionally increase its friendship. Also, just walking around on the overworld is a good way to build up their friendship with you. Also, obvious reasons, I am not teaching self-destruct to Coilette. We are definitely not going to be relying on that in this run. But consequently, with the friendship stats, it can also be lowered if your Pokemon suffers some negative conditions. For instance, if it were to receive a status ailment in battle, like being poisoned or burned, that will lower its friendship. As well as fainting, because obviously Pokemon don't like being knocked unconscious. And there's also a very rare selection of items that can even lower a Pokemon's friendship. And felt it necessary to bring up this stat now because the move Return is completely dependent on a Pokemon's friendship stat. So pretty much the stronger a Pokemon's friendship stat is, the stronger that the move Return will also be reflected. And I'm pretty sure when a Pokemon's friendship stat is fully maxed out, then the base power of Return becomes 102, which is pretty darn good. And with it being a normal type move that can be learned by pretty much any Pokemon that can learn a TM, it can certainly be a solid addition to any one of your Pokemon's movesets. Definitely consider it if you know that a Pokemon has its maxed out friendship. Also felt it nice to bring up the friendship stats now, because there are certain Pokemon that are even able to evolve if you max out their friendship stats. With Golbat here actually being one of the few Pokemon that are able to evolve in this game via friendship. It's also one of the few you can get before beating the main story that are able to evolve that way. So that is pretty cool. We'll definitely want to remember that sometime in the near future, considering what's available to us here. I love fishing, don't get me wrong, but it'd be best if I also had more work. Okay. Seeing a lot of fishermen over here. As you can obviously tell, fishermen will typically use water-type Pokemon, as they like to use the Pokemon that they catch in battle. Pretty nice detail with them. And yeah, we're just gonna see a lot of different options from the fishermen around here as we train up our team. There's quite a few trainers on this route, so it is pretty good for building up your levels before the next area coming up. Because we're going to have a lot more battles we're going to need to do, and it'd be best to get our team as strong as we can for what's ahead. Because not only do we have a gym coming up, but there is another area where we're going to be seeing a lot of battles, and honestly a pretty tough fight if you're not prepared for it. So, yeah, it would be best if we try to strengthen our team as much as we can. Okay, you're lowering my accuracy, so we're just going to go to Aerial Ace to finish you. Also considering what is available on this route, there is grass in this area, though I'm probably not going to catch any Pokemon in the grass, at least for now. I was kind of thinking of my options here, and we do still have the old rod that we can use to fish up a Pokemon. However, I'm gonna wait before we actually begin fishing. Pokemon sprawled out in a deep and comfortable slumber. So yep, we managed to reach the point over here on this route where Snorlax is just relaxing. There's nothing we can do to get past this guy, so we're just going to leave him resting for now. And how about we go talk to these two here? Hey, Jess, if we win, I'll marry you. Oh, we got ourselves a couple over here. Young couple, Gia and Jess. So this is an example of a double battle. Something that's very rare here in Fire Red and Leaf Green, but much more common over in the Hoenn region. So this battle format is very interesting, and it's actually very nice that we have Wilma here in the party to demonstrate this. So in a double battle, you'll be sending out 2 of your Pokemon against 2 of your opponent's Pokemon to fight. And yeah, this can lead to a lot of interesting matchups of trying to decide how to best counter your opponents. So as we can see here with our move selection, if you use an attack that's able to affect multiple Pokemon, it actually shows the highlighted Pokemon that'll be affected. So if we were to use Magnitude, that would also do damage to Khalifa, as well as the opponent's Pokemon. However, if we go for Rock Slide, it only damages the opponent's Pokemon. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. And Khalifa, you can Seismic Toss, just to do some solid damage. So yeah, double battles are a really interesting battle format. One that honestly I really like. This entire battle format just really adds a lot more strategy to the battle experience of having you really need to think about which Pokemon that you want to send in that can best support your other battling Pokemon, and which ones would be most effective for taking care of your opponents, as well as deciding which one of your opponents to focus on or try to knock out both opponents at the same time. It's a much more strategic form of battling than the singles format, and the doubles format is very popular in the competitive scene. So that's definitely a nice thing to mention regarding that. Just gonna go ahead and use a Pecha Berry to heal Khalifa. It's gonna be a little while before we head back to town, so might as well keep her healthy. Jess, you silly, you ruined this. Oh, Gia, forgive me, my love. Aw, man, we just totally ruined this guy's proposal. Yay, us. I feel pretty bad about breaking some hearts over here, but what are we gonna do? Just let them win? We can't have that. So yeah, we can see an item over here on that island there. Sadly, we do not have the means to be able to grab it yet. But we will want to remember that for the future. So now we're done with Route 12 for now. Let's go heal up our Pokemon, and then we can finally get started on making our way to our next destination. Alright. So we obviously have a lot of battles coming up, and hopefully things are gonna go well. Considering some of the things that have happened earlier in this stream, now we got a pretty solid team now, so we should be pretty fine for what's to come. Alright, it's time to leave the somber atmosphere of Lavender and make our way to a new area, Route 8. So this area definitely has a lot of things that we'll want to check out. What's a cute, round, and fluffy Pokemon? So this area does have one new encounter we can make, and I'm really hopeful that we'll be able to actually add it to our team, considering just with the different varieties of types of Pokemon we can acquire in this area, it'd be a very nice boon for us to have. And I just remembered, just stepping into this area, how we are going to be able to acquire this Pokemon. So we're actually going to need to double back to Lavender Town so that we can get the thing we need to be able to access the wild Pokemon in this area. Stop! Don't be so mean to my Clefairy. You're the one who literally asked me to fight you. I read that Clefairy evolves when it's exposed to a moonstone. I read that in a Pokemon journal. I wonder if it's true. Yeah, there is a long-standing theory that Clefairy are associated with the moon. And considering these guys are very much just very... What am I trying to say here? They're just very mystical Pokemon, and with the revelation that they're actually fairies, it definitely adds a lot to the overall lore of this series. So yeah, we're going to swap out Bulbo for Raditz here, because we need a Pokemon with Cut for this next area. Also, now that we've leveled up Khalifa, I actually want to use a rare candy on her right now. Let's go and give that to her. Level you up to level 28. Blah! That candy is so bitter. Ugh, what the heck? What's happening? I feel powerful. Ah! So with that, Khalifa's now evolved into Primate. Alright, I can't wait to show Kale this new form. And it's also learning Rage. That was kind of a low power attack. I don't really want to go for that. But yep, finally managed to get Khalifa all leveled up into a Primate. Very happy for that, as she is going to be just a much stronger battler for us. Look at that attack stats! And that speed, too. Still, she has low defenses, but, you know, gotta take the good with the bad. So yeah, I am very happy with this. Khalifa, you are going to be so good on this team here. Especially with what's going to be coming up soon. So now that we've taken care of that, it's time for us to see what else we can find on this route. I'm a rambling gaming dude. Yeah, that guy's dialogue makes a lot more sense when this guy's a gambler. Not so much with this. And he's got himself a Growlithe. It's nothing we haven't already encountered before. So let's let Wilma take care of this pupper. Ow. Okay, enough of that, please. So, what is some stuff that we can talk about while we're just kind of taking care of things around here? Oh, Vulpix! So kind of briefly want to mention, because they're shown on this guy's team, Growlithe and Vulpix are also examples of version-exclusive Pokemon. You can only catch Growlithe in FireRed and Vulpix in Leaf Green. So you definitely want to remember that. But yeah, I want to bring over Raditz because we need Cut to be able to access this grove of grass here, which is going to be necessary if we are going to get our catches in this area. So I'm going to switch Sarah into the lead. So I feel like she would be very useful for helping us catch the Pokemon that can be found here. There's only one new Pokemon that is going to be available to us here. So we're just going to keep looking around until we find it. Not you! Just going to go ahead and confuse you out of here, because we do not need you. So to talk about some stuff that's been going on, I've just been enjoying my day off from work today. It's been pretty nice. I actually went downtown, I grabbed some ramen at the ramen shop that I like to frequent, and man, it was so good. I always get the pork ramen when I'm there. Just very tasty. And not really the most expensive meal too, so it feels really good to grab that every now and then. So yep, I've been having a pretty good day so far. Still need to worry about the whole dishwasher situation in my place, but hopefully that'll get repaired soon. But anyway, we can finally see our new catch for this area, Growlithe. So this guy is a Fire-type Pokemon, and I want to put this guy to sleep for a very important reason. This guy, this girl, actually, has a very nasty move called Roar. And if she manages to use that attack on us, then the battle will automatically end. So we just want to try and catch this thing as quickly as we can. Alright, there we go! So we managed to acquire you. That gives us a very feisty and fiery Pokemon for us. Growlithe, the puppy Pokemon. Very friendly and faithful to people. It will try to repel enemies by barking and biting. I see a lot of dogs in my neighborhood, so I'm obviously have an affinity for these little guys. They're so cute. And especially Growlithe is just a very good Pokemon. Trying to think of a name that I would want to give you. So there's one name that I think would be pretty cute for you, so I'll call you Kindle. Yeah, I think that'd be a very fitting name for a fiery puppy. Now that we've taken care of that, should be good just to continue on this route. Yeah, I'm very happy we got this Pokemon. You should be informed you need strategy to win at this. Yeah, you're not too wrong about that. I mean, if you just try to go into battles only focusing about damage and... I don't know, you can easily get through these games just by brute forcing it, but the strategic element of being able to master your Pokemons of various different types of attacks, both the damage dealing and the status moves, can really shake the whole foundations of the run, you know. Anyway, got ourselves a new face here, Muk, the evolution of Grimer. This thing is just pretty much a bigger Grimer, and sadly I still don't think it's really that good of a Pokemon. There are plenty of other poison types that I feel are just superior to this thing in every way. Now, if we were in the Alola region, that would be a different story, because I actually really like Alolan Muk. It is such a good Pokemon. But, yeah, not too fond of the Cantonian variant. It's not really that amazing in my opinion. And we'll finish off this small fry, and we should be done here. Get out of here. Alright, that battle went pretty well. It's not logical! And that makes it the most logical of all. Go with Grimer first, and then... Yeah, you need a new strategy, bud. Alright, so now we've taken care of that, we can talk to these twins over here. We'll shock you with our twin power. So we got ourselves another rare instance of a double battle here in this game. Twins Ellie and Anne. They got himself a Clefairy and a Jigglypuff. Seeing this battle party here reminds me of a certain battle over in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, which thankfully we don't have to worry about that anytime soon. But yeah, specifically seeing these Pokemon reminds me of that one battle. Yeah, that definitely brings up a lot of memories for something. Also pretty cute seeing these two Pokemon together, since they're both normal types in this game that would eventually gain the Fairy typing in Gen 6. That's pretty nice. Right, took out Jigglypuff with a critical. Not bad. And then Clefairy gets doused in acid. Very good. Our twin power. You tried your best. Just need some better Pokemon. Using Pokemon with Ellie. I got my Pokemon with Anne. It's always very nice when you have two siblings that have the same interests. Like, I live with my brother where we currently reside, and oh man, our tastes in things couldn't be any more different. But anyway, got ourselves a new battle over here with this nerd. Okay, he's got himself a Koffing. Considering that thing's level, yeah, probably gonna switch over to Wilma, would probably be the safer option. I forget what level that Koffing gets self-destruct, but I don't want to take any chances. Having Wilma out against this thing is our best course of action here. And you're probably wondering why I'm not going for magnitude for damage on this thing, considering that Koffing is a poison type. This thing gets the ability Levitate, which completely cancels damage from ground type attacks. So this actually really works in Koffing's favor, since it completely removes one of its weaknesses. Very nice. Definitely a good improvement for this guy with the transition to Generation 3. Made it clear to me that I should stick with school. Maybe you didn't do too bad there. I like Nidorans, so I collect them. Well, it's always nice to have a preference when it comes to Pokemon. Typically myself, I don't really have too much of a preference. I just like so many different kinds of Pokemon. Like, a lot of my favorites tend to be either the really cool, badass looking ones, or just the really cute and adorable ones, or just the totally goofy ones. And typically, I do like the vast majority of Pokemon. There are very few that I actually do not like. And even then, it's not like the worst thing in the world to have the Pokemon that I don't like appear, because, you know, any Pokemon is someone's favorite, you know? Alright, managed to take out that Nidorina after a couple cuts there. Why? Why? Yeah, why indeed? Alright, Raditz, let's give you a bit of a break and go to Wilma for this next one. Meowp is so cute. Meow, meow, meow. Oh, you're one of those girls, eh? Not gonna knock anyone for, you know, having their fixations. I certainly have my own. I mean, obviously she has good taste, since I do like Meowth myself. It's a good Pokemon. With a lot of charm. And yeah, that was not really intentional, but yeah, it has a lucky charm on its head, so, you know. Alright, can finish you. One more hit. Very good. That takes care of Andrea here. Meow! I think Pidgey and Rattata are cute too. Aw, so she tends to have a preference for the little normal types, I see. That's cute. What are we gonna do next? Let's swap you for Flawn, since we haven't really been using... Well, we have been using her a lot. Let's look silly standing here like this. I mean, kinda. Megan here. Ooh, she's actually got a pretty big team. Probably not going to be anything really all that tough we got to worry about. Yeah, that is kind of a thing with the Kanto games. More specifically, the Gen 1 and the Gen 3 versions is you typically see that a lot of trainers typically use the very similar looking teams, and yeah, you just run into a lot of Pokemon in the same couple of battles, and we get a little repetitive, you know. I mean, in this game there's only 150 options that they can use, so obviously things are going to get a little weird with how the trainer battles are structured. Definitely around this chunk of the game, we're still going to see quite a few trainers that use the same type of teams, but eventually things will start to improve, especially as we're going later into the game. Something I really liked with Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee is that they completely remix a lot of the teams that you would encounter over the course of the game, and also improve the levels of the Pokemon that you would encounter on trainers. So the difficulty of the game would steadily improve a lot more as you go along. We'd actually expect to see some pretty high-level trainers around the midpoint of the game, which again, I really appreciate. We should be just about done with this. There we go. And that gives us a level up for Wilma. Very good. Look what you did to my poor cute Pokemon! Hey, if it wasn't yours, it would have been mine. Just saying. Okay, Wilma took a bit of a beating in that fight, and still like her to see some action here, so let's heal you up. And while we're at it, let's also heal Raditz, because I can also see him being useful in a few fights here. Again, there are a lot of trainers on this route, and even a new one. Clear the way or I'll run you down! So this guy over here is a biker. So these guys typically favor poison and fighting type Pokemon. And they're really not the nastiest, except for a few cases. But yeah, you do need to watch out for some of their teammates. Alright, got a level up for Flandra from that, and now she's learning Confuse Ray. This is pretty much just a better Supersonic. It has 100 accuracy as opposed to 55, so we are definitely going to take advantage of that. It's easily going to be one of her best moves, and I definitely got a lot of use out of this when I originally used Golbat back in my blue Nuzlocke. Like, she was so freaking good, being able to confuse opponents and just whittle them down. She was so good I even took her all the way to the Hall of Fame. That's how much I loved that bat. It really made me completely rethink how I felt about Golbat over the years. Such a good Pokemon. You for real, kid? I'm as real as it gets, punk. But yeah, now that we've gotten that taken care of, let's see what else we can find over here. There's another biker we can deal with. Hey, my bike's acting up, man! Yeah, it can always be a bit of a pain when something you care about isn't in the best condition. Alright, got ourselves a Coughing. Switch over to Wilma, because I'm still not sure if this thing has the nasty attack. I mean, I have a guidebook that I can use to look up what movesets these Pokemon would have at these levels. But I don't need to worry about that too much. So why did you have to go and poison my rock? That's just not nice. That's fine, I don't expect these things to do too much to Wilma anyway. Still watching your health get just taken down every single turn. It's a bit of a pain. We should be good. You know, I brought this up earlier when talking about, like, regional variants and how I really liked Alolan Muck. Coughing is another Pokemon that received a regional variant in Sword and Shield. Specifically, its evolution, Weezing, got a pretty sweet regional form that also gave it a pretty interesting ability called Neutralizing Gas, which I know sees a bit of competitive use. And also just the fact that Coughing turns into a Poison Fairy type, I just feel is a pretty neat concept. And yeah, just looking back on these older games, just really fun to see just how much the series and the Pokemon have evolved over time. We see a lot of new roles being given to Pokemon simply by receiving a new evolution or a new form over the course of time. Like, speaking of which, Khalifa, she's a Primeape, and for the longest time, that's pretty much the end of her evolution line. But in the most recent game, Scarlet and Violet, we received a new evolution for Primeape, which I really frickin' adore. I'm so thankful that we finally got an evolution for this guy. Alright, for this one... yeah, we've been giving Wilma a lot of action right now, so we'll leave this one to Raditz. How dare you screech me? I guess we can go for the Poison Powder. This thing is lowering my defense, but we really don't have to worry about anything this thing's gonna do to me, because the only attack it has at this level that can affect us with that is Tackle. And that's really not all that strong at this point. So yep, we're just going to deal with this guy here. We'll be good. So, what's something else that I wanted to mention that I've been doing today? So pretty recently I finished up some art that I wanted to finally get done. So I actually drew a picture of Donkey Kong, heavily inspired by the recently revealed redesign that he received for both Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong Bonanza, which are two games I am really excited to eventually get to try. God, I'm looking forward to getting the Switch 2. It's going to be pricey, but the quality of the games is sure to be darn good. And as I mentioned before, I just really like the new design they have for Donkey Kong. It looks a lot more cartoony and expressive, and obviously I'm going to miss the Rare design since we've had it for over 30 years. Just even saying that is causing my bones to atrophy. But yeah, I really love this new direction they're going with the character, and I'm sure that the new games are going to be good. And to also mention some other things that have been going on lately. So I've still been hacking away at Xenoblade Chronicles X. And at this point, I am now well past the point where I originally stopped playing through the game. So yeah, just very nice that I've been making enough progress that we are now well past the point where I stopped playing the original Wii U version. So yeah, managed to clear the Chapter 10 event in that game, which was certainly interesting. Gave us a really cool set piece for a really intense looking fight. And yeah, I just really enjoyed that. Nah, we're not going to learn that move. It is a good one, but with Wilma's current moveset, I don't feel like it's going to be that helpful. Ow! Meltdown! Oh, you're melted alright, buddy. Alright, let's heal up Wilma, because she took a lot of damage from poison there. And we should be good to go. So yeah, definitely happy with the amount of progress I have been making in Xenoblade X recently. But the chapter that I just completed also helps to kind of reinforce a certain opinion that I have regarding the game, which I do like. I do think it is a good game, but in terms of its story elements, I definitely feel it has the weakest villains out of any of the Xenoblade games. Because I don't really care that much for any of the villainous characters that we encounter. You know, the only one that I really care about is that one lion guy that you encounter really late into the game. He's pretty cool, and pretty sure we're going to have a mission coming up where we can actually recruit him as a playable character, which is pretty sweet. But yeah, for the most part, I don't really care about any of the characters, well, the villainous characters in that game compared to some of the other ones. I just feel like the personalities of these villains in X are so much weaker than the ones we have seen from the other games. Hell, Xenoblade 1 had a really good roster of villains. I really loved the villains in that game so much. And obviously I feel that Xenoblade 2 and 3 have some pretty cool villains as well. It's just X where I really don't care for the villainous roster that much. But yeah, that's what I wanted to say on that matter. We got a Wapare Berry. It's not going to be anything really important to us just yet. So we're over here on Route 7 now, completely bypassing another one of these gates over here, leading into Saffron that we can't do anything with. And, tragically, feels bad to say this, but there aren't any Pokemon we can catch on this route because we have already caught everything that can be found here. So we're just going to move on to Celadon City. So this is where we're going to be spending the bulk of this session here, just taking care of as many things as we can in this area. Also, considering what we're going to be doing here, I felt it would be nice to swap out one of our Pokemon. Specifically, I want to switch Wilma out, as she is not going to be very useful in this next area coming up. Also, let's check out Kindle's stats. She has a gentle nature, which, okay, lowers your defense, but it's not too bad. She has Flash Fire. That's nice, but we also missed out on an opportunity to get a Pokemon with Intimidate, as it's one of the abilities Growlithe can get, and yeah, that would have been really good for us. Yeah, you're fine here. We'll probably train you up in between sessions, but for the time being, you're not really the most stellar encounter we could have gotten. Still, having a fire type would be pretty good. They are pretty solid attackers, strong against a lot of different Pokemon. And thinking about what else we're going to be dealing with here. I feel like our team so far... Well, let's switch Khalifa out for Zoe. So I feel you'll be pretty good for this next area that we'll be dealing with. And I'm actually going to give Coilette a break, because Electric is not going to be really good in the next area we're going to see. So how about we bring in Bulbo? It could be pretty useful for the fights to come. And I'm going to leave the final slot in our team open for the time being, for a very important reason we'll get into soon. A Pokeflute awakens sleeping Pokemon, you know that. It does so with a sound that only they can hear. Like a dog whistle. I rode here from Fuchsia. It's an uphill ride on cycling roads, so I'm exhausted. I can imagine so. If I had a bike, I'd go to Cycling Road. Well, it's a good thing we have one of those. So yeah, Celadon City here. This is a pretty big area with a lot of stuff for us to see. Like this guy. Keep out of Team Rocket's way. So even Team Rocket has a presence over here in Celadon. Well, that's something we gotta worry about if Team Rocket is just roaming around. But anyway, we want to go around this place and just see all the different things we can find. We can pick up an Ether, that's good. And we can actually go into the back of this building here in order to access a secret area we wouldn't be able to find otherwise. I know everything! There is nothing that I don't know, like I wrote on the blackboard. I know about the world of Pokemon in your Game Boy Advance. Get together with your friends and enjoy training Pokemon. It's a pamphlet on TMs. There are 50 TMs in all. There are also 7 HMs that can be used repeatedly. Silphco. So examine this blackboard. Gives information on various things, usually having to do with multiplayer, so we're not going to do that. But what we do want is to grab this Pokeball. We obtain an Eevee. Ooh, boy. So this is a very special Pokemon. It is a normal type that has the ability to evolve into a wide variety of different Pokemon. This thing could be really, really good for us, and I'm actually planning to make it a main team member. Just gonna take a while for us to really get to see it in action, but this thing will be really good. Alright, so what are we going to call you? So we got ourselves a male Eevee, which I believe is usually the standard, because Eevee are way more to male than female. And what are we going to call you? Okay, I kind of have an idea on what I want to call this guy. So, earlier this year, I had been playing quite a bit of Genshin Impact, and the main character of that game that you control, he has the ability to resonate with a lot of different elements, which reminds me a lot of Eevee in a lot of ways. And if you pick the male character, that character is typically referred to as the Traveler in that game, but canonically, the character's real name is Aether. So I felt that we could call our little Eevee Aether. Ooh, it's level 25. That's really good. It's very close to the rest of our party. Okay, Aether's got a docile nature. I believe that is neutral, so he's got pretty normal stats. Ooh, he has high special defense, though. So I think he's got a really good special defense, Ivy. So that is really good. Especially considering what I want to turn this Pokemon into. But we will discuss that at a later date. Just want to check something right quick. Alright, we got a good amount of money. So that should be good for what we need to do. So yeah, I want to bring Aether into our party because I want to use Eevee so badly. In all of the previous streams that I've done of various Pokemon games over on my Twitch channel, I keep saying how good Eevee is, and yet I have never added one of Eevee's evolutions into any of my main teams. But I felt for our FireRed Nuzlocke run here, that would all change, and we could finally get to show off what Eevee is capable of. And trust me, we're going to see a lot of action. This is my trusted pal, Poliwrath. It evolved from a Poliwhirl when I used a Water Stone. Ribbit, ribbit. Trainer tips. X accuracy boosts the accuracy of techniques. Dire hit jacks up the likelihood of critical hits. Get your items at the Celadon department store. So like I said before, this area is very big, so we're going to want to explore as much of it as possible. You shouldn't spend all your money on drinks. Try this instead. So we receive tea from the old lady here. Nothing beats first like some hot tea. It really is the best. So believe it or not, this NPC giving us this item is plot important. An aromatic tea prepared by an old lady. It will slake even the worst first. So that we'll want to remember for later, as that'll be very useful to our team. But yeah, we can just look around this apartment building and see what we can find. There is nothing on that second floor, so what's even the point of it? And this area is pretty interesting. I wrote the story. Isn't Erica cute? I like Misty a lot too. Oh, and Sabrina. I like her. It's the script. Better not look at the ending, as this area is the Game Freak development room. So yeah, it's a running trend throughout the series that you will find an area where you can actually find the staff of Game Freak, who are the developers of the Pokemon games. I'm the graphic artist. I drew you. Someone's playing a game instead of working. Me? I'm the programmer. It's the game program. Messing with it could bug out the game. Yeah, wouldn't want that to happen. Is that right? I'm the game designer. Filling up your Pokédex is tough, but don't quit. When you finish, come tell me. So yeah, but it's very nice to see Game Freak making a little bit of a guest appearance here. And they also provide a little bit of incentive to complete the Pokédex, which is one of the main goals of the Pokemon games. Though that's not anything we're going to be worrying about in this run. Now I scalded my tongue. This nice old lady at the mansion gave me some tea, but it was boiling hot. Gotta cool it to drink it. Yeah, it always sucks when you burn your tongue and then you can't properly enjoy the thing you're trying to eat or drink. Celadon takes pride in its efforts to keep the city beautiful. That's why the new game corner is bad for a city's image. Oh, maybe want to check that out later. I got my coffee in Cinnabar. It's usually nice, but it breeds poison when it's angry. Well, at least you enjoy your new friend. So over here we got an area that's going to be very nice to us. Hello, welcome to Celadon Department Store. The board on the right describes the store layout. So this place is the store to end all stores. There isn't a regular Pokemart in Celadon City. Instead, we have the department store, which has a ton of different things for us to find. Like on this level, we can buy TMs. So we're able to grab TMs for Roar, Hyper Beam, which is one of the strongest attacks in the game with a cost to only being able to use it, and then you need to take a turn to recharge. Dig, which we've already seen. Brick Break, which is a pretty solid fighting type attack. Secret Power, which is a normal type attack that's affected by terrain. And Attract. So yeah, definitely a lot of fun options we can get here. And over here we have a regular store. We can just buy a bunch of items that we're going to be needing. So we'll take another Great Ball, sure. We have plenty of super potions, we don't need to rely on that. But sure, I'll take some more antidotes. Could always use more healing items. Yeah, let's take a couple paralyzed heals. We're good on awakenings, we're good on burns. Still don't really need to worry about ice, so we're just going to ignore that. And let's see what else we can find here. Capture Pokemon are registered with an ID number in the OT. OT stands for Original Trainer, the trainer that caught it first. Oh hi, I finally finished Pokemon. Not done yet? How about I teach you a good move? The move I have in mind is Counter, not like the one I'm leaning on, mind you. We're not going to take that, but that is still an interesting move. So Counter, obviously, is a counter attack. If you use that attack, it gives the opponent a chance to do damage to your Pokemon. And then on the next hit, and after you've taken damage to the opponent, your Pokemon will use Counter to deal double the damage afflicted to it back at the opponent, which is really nice for taking out opponents. Come on, Haunter! I love Haunter. I collect them. Huh? Haunter turned into a different Pokemon while being traded. A sports game. That'll like that. An RPG. There's no time for that. Alright, my buddy's gonna train me as Kangaskhan for my Haunter. Got a lot of different games on display here. A fighting game. Looks tough. It's a Super NES. A puzzle game. Looks addictive. So yeah, but it's a fun little detail that we have Super Nintendos on display here in the store. And back at our room, back in Pallet Town, we only have an NES. So yeah, we're kind of behind the times in terms of technology. You can identify Pokemon you get in trades with their ID numbers. It's a running trend as well in the Pokemon series that you'll typically find various Nintendo consoles in certain areas if you look hard enough. I'm getting a present for my girlfriend. I guess a Pokédoll will be it. It's the popular thing. Definitely want to remember to get a Pokédoll for later. I heard something useful. If a wild Pokemon appears, you can distract it with a Pokédoll. You can run away while the wild Pokemon is distracted. That could certainly help. And over here, this is the store that's going to be very important to us for strengthening our team. And naturally, we can get a Pokédoll here. You can use it to instantly flee from a wild battle if you need to. There's also Retro Mail, what is useless to us. And then we have Evolution Stones. Firestone, Thunderstone, Waterstone, and Leaf Stone. These are useful for evolving specific type of Pokemon that cannot evolve by level up. So we're definitely going to want these in order to strengthen our Pokemon. So for the first one of these I want to get, I actually want to grab the Water Stone. Because out of our various options here for what we can evolve one of our Pokemon, I want to use our Water Stone on Aether. So now Aether has resonated with the power of Hydro and evolved into Vaporeon. Also, you can use the Thunderstone here to evolve it into Jolteon, or the Firestone to evolve it into Flareon. All of these different evolutions from Eevee have completely different stats, as well as completely different moves they can learn by level up. So whichever you want for your team is purely based on your personal preference. But yeah, let us talk about this guy here, Vaporeon. This thing is a great special attacker and a really good tank as well, having a lot of HP and pretty solid special defense, alongside having really good special attack power. So I wanted to go to you for our evolution, specifically because I feel that you would be the most helpful to us on our journey. And so that we can quickly have the means of being able to damage opponents, we're going to teach you Water Pulse. That's why I've been holding on to this TM all this time. We don't need Helping Hand. That move is pretty much only useful in double battles, which we are not going to see a lot of over the course of this run. So let's go ahead and teach you this new attack. So yeah, here in this game, you're able to evolve Eevee into one of 3 different evolutions. There are 2 others you can technically get for this game. However, you can't actually get them in Fire Red and Leaf Green because they require the clock, which sadly this game does not have. So in order to be able to get the other evolutions for Eevee, you have to actually trade them over to Ruby, Sapphire, or Emerald, and then you need to grab the... then you have to get the means of being able to evolve them. So yeah, that could be a little taxing if you're trying to acquire those Pokemon for these games. But, you know, they're still reliable in their own right. So that we've taken care of that. So I also want to jump in here in order to grab a Leaf Stone, because that can evolve another one of our Pokemon that we currently have in our party. Let's go ahead and use this to evolve Raditz. I don't see any other reason to keep him unevolved at this point. Let's just go for it. So by using this on Raditz, he is able to evolve into... a big flower. Raditz evolved into Vileplume. It's a pretty strong grass poison type Pokemon. And this form, he's going to be quite good to us. Just pretty good stats across the board except for speed. And yeah, you can just see the difference in power between him and Bulbo. Sadly, his moves really aren't the best at this point, but, you know, we can always improve that with time. So yeah, I am very happy. We already managed to get quite a few new additions to our team with those evolutions, and we still haven't seen everything the store has to offer. Pokemon stat enhancers can be bought only here. HP up increase the base HP of a Pokemon. Calcium raise the base special attack stat of one Pokemon. Zinc boosts the base special defense stat of one Pokemon. Carbos enhances the base speed stat. I'm here for Pokemon stat enhancers. Protein increases the base attack power. Iron increases the base defense stat. So yeah, this floor is all about stat supplement items. So you can use all of the items found in this shop to be able to improve the effort values of your Pokemon in a specific stat. Really good if you want to min-max their stat spread. And then up here we can purchase battle-specific stat-raising items. So all the items here can be used temporarily in battle to give your Pokemon a stat boost, which can be pretty darn helpful. My sister's a trainer, believe it or not, but she's so immature she drives me nuts. I'm thirsty. I want something to drink. Don't worry, how about we get you a little drink here? So, up here on the roof of the department store, we have these vending machines that can give us various different types of drink. You can get fresh water, which is pretty much a cheaper version of the super potion, restoring 50 HP. You can also grab soda pop, which restores 60 HP, and lemonade, which can restore 80 HP. Yeah, these items are certainly good. And I'm gonna go ahead and give these drinks to this girl. Yay, fresh water! Thank you, you can have this from me. Receive TM16 from the girl. TM16 contains Light Screen. It's a move that weakens the power of special attacks by your foe. That could be useful to us sometime in the future. So we're just going to give all the drinks we can get from the vending machine to this girl. TM20 contains Safeguard. It's a move that prevents status problems among your Pokemon. And then we're going to give her the lemonade. To get TM30 free. TM30 free contains Reflect. It's a move that weakens the power of physical attacks by your foe. That is quite nice. Both Light Screen as well as Reflect are very useful defensive moves that can really benefit your team. So they set up a barrier that will improve the defense or special defense depending on the move you use, that will protect your Pokemon for at least 5 turns. In some games this can be supplemented with items, but I don't believe we'll be able to acquire those in this game. So yep, that is a very nice thing we're able to get there. And with that taken care of, I think we are pretty good to move on to Route 16. Yep, we got a new area over here already. And look what it is. There is yet another Snorlax blocking the road. Now, there is grass on this route, and we could use it to get a Pokemon now. However, I'm actually going to leave our encounter here until much later, because we can also get that same Pokemon in another area. So that's what I want to do about that. For this part, I'm going to switch Sarah about to the front here, because we got ourselves yet another double battle we can do. And I remember this one being quite tough. Young couple Leia and Jed have a Rapidash and a Ninetales. These things are really tough here. And yeah, look at those levels. We probably shouldn't have engaged them at this point, but we should be good. These two options, Rapidash is more of the attacker, so want to take care of you with Aether. And let's have Sarah try to hypnotize the others. So yeah, we got ourselves two pretty strong Pokemon here. And Ninetales is the evolution of Vulpix, and Rapidash is the evolution of Ponyta, which we saw earlier. Yeah, these things are no joke. Ninetales is more defensive, while Rapidash is more offensive. And yeah, they can be a pain to deal with. Alright, so we put Ninetales to sleep. Let's have Sarah go for Dream Eater, and we should be good. Alright, managed to get some good damage in with the confusion that Aether was able to inflict, so that's good. Yeah, I know this fight can typically catch a lot of people off guard, just because of how high level these two trainers are, and the fact that they're using fully evolved Pokemon at a point in the game where a lot of people still using unevolved Pokemon. But we should be pretty good to deal with these two. Yeah, this honestly wasn't too bad. Very good. that takes care of that. Oh no, my love has seen me as a loser! Oh well, sucks to be you. How'd you get in? Good effort! So yep, we're able to access this part of Route 16 in the back, and we can enter this house over here. Oh dear, you found my secret retreat. Please don't tell anyone I'm here. I'll make it up to you with this. And we receive HM2 from this girl here. HM2 is fly. It's a wonderfully convenient move. Please put it to good use. I think the implication here is that this girl is like a pop idol or some other form of celebrity. And she is using this home just to kind of escape from the public and the paparazzi. Quite a neat little idea to have here. But with that, we managed to get another HM. This one is quite good. It's a flying type attack with 70 base power. So it basically works like a flying version of Dig, where instead of going underground, your Pokemon goes into the sky to avoid attacks. Yeah, we don't need Pursuit on Zoe. That is not a good move on you. But with that, managed to get herself a new high-flying attack. Will certainly make Zoe a lot more powerful here, which is good considering the next battle we're going to be doing here. And as an added bonus, now that we have this move, we are now able to use Fly to travel to any place that we have previously visited on our journey. That is quite nice. It's going to make going around the Kanto region so much easier for us. So yeah, I definitely appreciate that. Alright, so for the next thing I want to do, considering how much time we still have left in this session, so I want to move around our team a little bit, perhaps. Because I like Aether, but he is not going to be that useful in the next area we're going to go to. So I want to see if we can switch him out for someone else. Considering what we have in the next area we're going to go to, I hate to say it, but Majestic would actually be helpful for this area. Huzzah! I'll be sure to put on a marvelous performance for you all. Yeah. Sure it will be Majestic. So yeah, we're gonna bring our Serpent with us for this next area. So yep, this is gonna be an interesting place for us to go to. Alright, so we still have a bit of Celadon City that we can still explore. There's a lot of trees around here that we need to cut down in order to progress through this area. And yep, I knew there was a hidden item over there. We picked up a Peepee up. Oh, what am I to do? Someone stole our Sylph Scope! The thief came running this way, I'm sure of it. I lost sight of him. Where'd he go? So we're gonna save this building for a later session, but it will be important for later. Oh, I blew it all to slots. I knew I should have cashed in my coins for prizes. Very fascinating. Want to remember that for later. Psst, there's a basement under the game corner, I hear. Go ahead, laugh. I'm flat out busted. No more slots for me. I'm going straight. Here, I won't be needing this anymore. Receive a coin case from this man. I always thought I was gonna win it back. Also like the little detail that you can see there's a mug of beer in front of this guy. Back in the day when they were still able to get away with having alcohol references in kids' games. Gotta love it. The man at that table lost it all to slots. My Pokemon are weak, so I often have to go to the drugstore. Hi, sorry, but we're taking a break right now. I like this cozy little restaurant here. Has a very nice atmosphere to it. What are you staring at? Get lost or I'll punch you. Yee, hostile. Cheat, we just shipped 2,000 more Pokemon as slot prizes again today. The slots just reel in the dough big time. Don't touch the poster at the game corner. There's no secret switch behind it. So it seems like Team Rocket is associated with the game corner. Wonder what that's about. I'm on vacation with my brother and boyfriend. Celadon's such a pretty city. Sure is. Yippee! I'm on vacation. My sis brought me along. Awesome! Why? Why'd she bring her brother? Well, someone's not enjoying it. Also, I can see that this hotel got rid of the invisible PC. Oh, come on. No, this is a hotel for people. We're full up, unfortunately. Fine, I wouldn't come here even if I was a has-been. Alright, so now we've taken care of that. We've pretty much seen most of the sites we can around Celadon. Besides a certain area, which will be relevant for later. We want to head over this way, because this is where the gym is. Celadon City Pokemon Gym, leader Erica, the nature-loving princess. This gym is great, it's full of women! We're just gonna leave that guy alone. But yep, here in the Celadon Gym, we certainly got a lot for us to take care of. Let's go deal with the trainers here, because there is quite a few. I should tell you about this gym. Only real ladies are allowed in here. So what am I? So the Celadon Gym is all about grass-type Pokemon. So grass types are usually characterized with having a lot of weaknesses, but having a lot of good strengths. Especially when it comes to being able to have a lot of status moves that they can inflict on opponents. I would regard grass types as more of a tactician class among Pokemon. They're really good for being able to set up a lot of different negative effects on your party, such as this Weepin' Bell using Stun Spore to paralyze Majestic. Thankfully, he was just able to shed his skin and get rid of that effect on him, so that's pretty nice. So they do have a lot of weaknesses, though. 5 in total, so you should not be at a loss for Pokemon to be able to handle this gym. You're too rough. Well, you're too... I don't know what else to say that wouldn't come across as really sexist. So we're just gonna move on. Oh, welcome. I was getting bored. Say hello to one of my favorite sprites in this game, Beauty Bridget. So yeah, beauties you would typically see using Pokemon that they typically consider attractive. So, I don't know why she's going for an Oddish. I mean, they are pretty cute. I like the little turnip guys. So yeah, for this gym, before going in here, highly recommend picking up a lot of antidotes, paralyze heals, and awakenings to be able to deal with the status ailments in this area. You can also very easily acquire flying-type Pokemon before going in here, and they're naturally going to be very useful here. Poison is a bit tricky to recommend, because while Poison is super effective against grass, most of the grass types you're going to be encountering here are also poison. So there's really no reason to be using poison attacks against these guys, since it just does neutral damage. In terms of other things to be good against these guys, fire is a bit rare, but you can get Growlithe and Vulpix before entering this city. So that's another good option. You're definitely not going to encounter any ice types before this point, so you're not going to reliably be able to use them. And Bug is also a bit awkward, because there are very few Bug-type attacks that you can learn from your team. And Bug is super effective against Grass, but again, like with dealing with Poison, since most of the Grass types here are Poison-type, then that means that Bug attacks are going to do neutral damage against most of the Pokemon in here. My makeup! Thankfully, in later generations, they do a lot more to balance the typings of grass types. So you're not going to see, like, so many different teams of grass poison Pokemon. Again, I don't know why they had to saturate so many poison types in this game. It can really make a lot of these Pokemon feel very similar. Like, did we need 3 different families of grass poison Pokemon? Did we really need that? I don't know, just kind of a little nitpick from going back and evaluating these older games, especially with what we've experienced with the newer games. But I can thankfully say that later generations do a good job of having a lot of grass Pokemon that are able to get the strengths from not only being pure grass, but also having a lot of good dual types that don't have to just be poison all the time. No! Weren't you peeking in here earlier? No, that was the other guy, I swear. Alright, so we got another instance of somebody using a starter Pokemon here. A little Bulbasaur. I love these guys so much. See, I'm kind of thinking of other strategies I could recommend with this area. But yeah, pretty much make sure that you have a flying or a fire type when coming in here. And stock up on a lot of items to cure status ailments. And you shouldn't have too much trouble in this area. Yeah, I'm also thinking of some other things I would like to talk about while we're just clearing up this gym and all its trainers. You're an eye-opener. Why, thank you. I guess I can mention, just by being in this area, how this section of the story was pretty interesting in the anime, where due to shenanigans, Ash was actually barred from being able to access the Celadon gym. And in order to be able to get entry into the gym, Ash had to cross-dress as a girl in order to sneak in. Which, you know, pretty amusing for its time. And actually started a running gag in the anime where pretty much every season would have Ash dressing as a girl. And led to quite an interesting conclusion where Ash helped in order to save the Pokemon trapped in the gym when a fire broke out due to Team Rocket. And he was rewarded in the end with the gym badge for being able to save the Pokemon in the gym. So that was quite nice. It's an interesting little story there. Also pretty amusing to think about a lot of the early seasons of the Pokemon anime regarding Ash's characterization, because Ash was such a little shit in the early seasons of the show. My god. They're just so frickin' and impulsive, very egotistical. Noel had such a high opinion of himself and was so certain of being a Pokemon master, despite everyone being like, yeah, this guy stands no chance. But he still has a good heart and truly cares about his Pokemon, which is easily his best qualities from those early seasons. Alongside, you know, being able to come up with unorthodox strategies to be able to take out his opponents, which is always a delight to see from that show. But yeah, it's pretty interesting seeing just how much Ash mellowed out in the later seasons. Especially in a lot of the later ones, he especially became a lot more... what would I say this? Just a lot more typically positive and friendly compared to how things were initially. And I do really like the character progression he had, just being a lot more happy, always very eager to help out someone, though he still can get very laser focused on his goal with trying to be the best like no one ever was, you know? But, you know, he's still a good trainer, and getting to see a lot of the things he's able to accomplish in a lot of the later seasons was very nice. Like, seeing him attending a school in the Alola saga was pretty interesting. Man, just thinking about the Pokemon anime, it gets me a little melancholy to think that Ash's journey is actually over now. I know we've been kind of wanting it for so long so we can get some new characters and a fresh take on the series, but still kind of feels, you know, just a little sad seeing it gone. I guess something else I can mention while we're just taking care of things here. Pretty recently, a friend of mine was continuing his streams of the first Ape Escape game. That was quite interesting to see him do. He was pretty much in the cleanup portion of the game where he was taking things, just clearing up all the previous levels before he gets started on the end game, which was quite fun to watch. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing him... to seeing him conclude those streams. Just because I have a lot of attachment to the Ape Escape series myself, because I really enjoyed those games as a kid. Alright, so this next one... Let's give Sarah this next battle. I feel she'd be good against a lot of these opponents here. Pleased to meet you. My hobby is Pokemon training. Right, something else I could mention here. Just because there's a lot of Poison-type Pokemon in this gym, typically having a Psychic type like Kadabra or Hypno is also a really good choice here. Ooh, this guy has Reflect. Yeah, that's going to be a bit of a pain. So we can put this guy to sleep, and then we could switch out to one of our other Pokemon to take care of you. There we go. Now, you are part Psychic, so... wouldn't it be a good idea to send out our Poison types? Which, we have so many, my god. Like I said, Kanto is just filled with poison for no apparent reason. Okay, that guy's using Leech Seed on us, which I don't care for. Soften you up with Peck. I know you still have Reflect up. Yeah, this is gonna be a bit annoying to deal with. Alright, Reflect wore off. We're probably gonna set it up, so... what are we gonna do here? Let's just keep going for Peck and... Woo! That has some good damage. He actually didn't set up the Reflect, which is interesting. I think that it would have done that immediately. Oh well, just one more hit will take you out. There we go. And with that, we have dealt with the last Guardian in this garden. Only one more battle remains until we are done here. Alright, considering our options... Alright, let's heal up our team, and then we can get started on this fight. I'm pretty sure we don't have any regular potions at this point, but that's okay. We can stock up on items at the vending machine now that we have those available. And with them being a lot cheaper than buying super potions at the stores, yeah, just going to be very beneficial to us. And considering what else we're going to be dealing with here, let's give a couple more Oran Berries to our Pokemon. So that to be prepared for what's to come. Now, it would probably be a good idea to have your Pokemon a little bit higher level for this gym. Like, I could recommend level 30, but we should be good. Alright, let's do this. Hello. Lovely weather, isn't it? It's so pleasant. Oh dear, I must have dozed off. Welcome. My name is Erica. I'm the leader of Celadon Gym. I'm a student of the art of flower arranging. My Pokemon are solely of the grass type. Oh, I'm sorry. I had no idea that you wished to challenge me. Very well, but I shall not lose. Alright, time to take on the nature-loving princess in her own garden. She is leading with Victory Bell, the final form of Bellsprout. This thing is a beast, a very strong attacker that also has a wide surplus of status moves that it can inflict you with. So this thing can be quite nasty. Watch out for this thing. Alright, we put you to sleep with Hypnosis, so we should be good to bring the hurt on you. Though I am going to take this turn to remove the paralysis, because I don't want Sarah to be impeded in this battle. Alright, let's go for Dream Eater to recover our health. Very good! Took out Victory Bell right away. That's very nice. Alright, let's see what is next here. So next opponent is Tangela. It's a Pokemon I actually used during my Platinum streams back in the day. Unlike the other Pokemon we've seen in this gym, Tangela is actually a pure grass type. So go ahead and use whatever Pokemon you want for this thing. Considering what this thing has available to it, let's go to Raditz. Something to briefly mention about Tangela, this thing is pretty defensive, having actually good bulk to it, alongside the usual grass-type flair of having some really good support moves in order to impede your Pokemon. But we shouldn't be able to need to worry too much. It's actually setting up with Ingrain. That gives it the ability to just regenerate health at the end of every turn. But it's nothing Raditz can't handle. That is it for you. And our next opponent here is going to be Erica's ace, Vileplume. So this thing obviously can be quite nasty. What do we want to do for you? We can go to Sarah, or we could go to Zoe or Flawn. Yeah, we're going to go to Flandra. For a very specific reason. This thing can really hit hard with the main attack that Erica uses in this gym, which is Giga Drain. So we're just going to have Flandra out, because as a poison flying type, she resists everything this Vileplume is able to do to her very well. So we're just going to deal with this Vileplume of what Flandra's got, and that should be the end of this fight. Been a pretty interesting one, honestly, but pretty good too. I mean, it's not annoying as Lieutenant Surge's battle was, where he was constantly using Double Team with his Raichu. That was a real pain. Yeah, we should be able to finish off Vileplume with one more attack. Come on, let's fight through the paralysis. Of course, she heals up her Vileplume. So Hyper Potion is a bit overkill since that restores 200 HP. Alright, let's restore that confusion. Restore the paralysis. Alright, can we confuse you so that you can't use your attacks on us? Thank you. Oh, come on! This thing's been breaking out of confusion so fast. So we got plenty of healing items so that we can cure just as many of this as it comes. Finally, you hit yourself. Alright, let's go for Aerial Ace. Let's try and take this thing out. Alright, one more hit should do it. Ah, it snapped out again. And it put us to sleep! This thing is being such a pain. Yeah, you can see what I mean of just grass types. Despite their many weaknesses, they are really good at being able to impede their opponents with all their status moves. Alright, let's finish you with Aerial Ace. There we go. That was certainly an interesting battle, but not too bad. Oh, I concede defeat. You are remarkably strong. I must confer on you the Rainbow Badge. We get our prize money for that. The Rainbow Badge will make Pokemon up to level 50 obey. It also allows Pokemon to use Strength in and out of battle. Please also take this with you. We get TM19. TM19 contains Giga Drain. Half the damage it inflicts is drained to heal your Pokemon. Wouldn't you agree that it's a wonderful move? Yeah, but it certainly is going to be helpful. You're cataloging Pokemon. I must say I'm impressed. I would never collect Pokemon if they were unattractive. I mean, ugly Pokemon have as much right to exist as the pretty ones, you know? But yeah, with that taken care of, we have managed to finish up our next leg of our gym challenge. Managing to get our 4th badge. Woo! So with that, we're actually about halfway done the journey. At least when it comes to getting our badges. We still got quite a ways to go before we are truly going to conclude this adventure. But you know, it's very nice getting our team this strong. And having a pretty easy time of this gym, all things considered. Now, we are just short of the 2-hour mark. And we could technically do some more stuff here in Celadon. But we're going to save that for the next session. So, yeah, this has been a very fun ride. So I don't know if we're going to do the next session until a little bit later. I mean, I do have another day off this weekend, but we'll probably wait a bit later for it. So we'll probably do our next session next week. Just want to take some time off for myself, you know. So, yep, thank you for joining me in this leg of our adventure. Next time on the Pokemon FireRed Nuzlocke, we'll be seeing what else we can find here in Celadon City and prepare ourselves for more challenges ahead. Until next time, have a good day and take care.